Sinister Stories.
A scary story about love and lost. The tale begins on a chilly Friday evening, after Gregory, weary from a long work week, sought solace and camaraderie at a local bar with his friends. Laughter and clinking glasses filled the air, but as the night wore on, one by one the others departed, leaving Gregory the solitary figure at the dimly lit bar. But this evening would take an unexpected turn. A mysterious woman, her presence seemingly out of place, swept into the bar. Her searching eyes scanned the room with a sense of purpose, as if she were hunting for something or someone. Their eyes met, Gregory's and this alluring stranger. A magnetic force, inexplicable and undeniable, pulled them together. Gregory, a cocktail of nerves and excitement, was drawn to her like a moth to a flame. As the woman moved toward Gregory, her allure and the anticipation in the air created a nervous tension. She called out a name, John, her voice quivering with uncertainty. An opportunity to retreat passed, but intoxicated by both spirits and beauty, Gregory spontaneously and unthinkingly responded, "Yes, I'm John." A radiant smile graced the woman's lips as she identified herself as Lola. "It's a pleasure to finally meet you," she purred. "I've been talking to you online for so long, I wondered if you were real." The hours melted away as they engaged in conversation, the connection between them deepening with each passing moment. Eventually, they left the bar and made their way to Gregory's home. Gregory's morning after was a blend of disbelief and curiosity. He had never been a part of such a whirlwind romance, a night etched into his memory like a strange dream. A silent relief swept over him, thankful that John had never shown up. It would become a fantastic story to share with his friends, a tale that left him longing for more. A few nights later, after another grueling workday, Gregory encountered Lola on his way home. They exchanged pleasantries, which quickly led to another drink at a local tavern, and inevitably, a return to Gregory's apartment. But as morning broke, the room was empty, except for the lingering scent of her presence. Gregory remained perplexed, his unease mingled with a growing sense of satisfaction. The pattern repeated. Morning came, and Lola had vanished. That same day at the office, a colleague delivered startling news. A visitor waited for Gregory at the front desk. It was Lola, bearing a picnic basket. "Hi, John," she chirped. "I hope you haven't eaten because I brought you lunch." Gregory, flustered and bewildered, accepted the gift, but couldn't shake the nagging question. How had Lola found his workplace? Lola's reply was cryptic. "You told me last night at the bar." Gregory's heavy drinking had left him with a hazy memory of their encounters. Before he could inquire further, Lola breezily announced, "I'll see you later." Gregory waved goodbye and started to head back to his office when he stopped suddenly, and questioned what did she mean, "I'll see you later." Gregory's confusion deepened. After work, Gregory chose a different route in an attempt to evade another encounter with Lola, but when he arrived at his apartment building, she was waiting, an enigmatic smile playing on her lips. He reluctantly welcomed her in, and before he knew it, she was in his kitchen, preparing dinner and pouring wine. A strange tension gripped the room as they sat down on the couch, Gregory insisting that they needed to talk. Lola, her composure unshaken, inquired with a knowing look. "What's wrong, John? Is everything okay?" Gregory hesitated, attempted to speak, and then faltered. "Wait, how did they know at my office that you were there to see me when—" Lola cut him off with a nonchalant explanation. "You told me that your name was Gregory, but you wanted me to call you John." Gregory's bewilderment grew as he pondered the extent of his inebriation on that fateful night at the bar. But his contemplation was cut short by Lola's announcement that dinner was ready. As the evening wore on, Gregory steeled himself to end the peculiar relationship that had inexplicably formed between them. Yet it was as if his words fell on deaf ears, and the night unfolded as if scripted, with Gregory becoming a passive participant in a story he couldn't quite grasp. The next morning, a surprising change greeted Gregory. Lola remained calmly preparing breakfast, while Gregory's unease swelled. This was the opportune moment to sever ties with this enigmatic woman, but he was abruptly reminded of work and rushed out the door, leaving her behind. Arriving at work, Gregory was hesitant to return home. He frequented a local tavern, seeking solace in liquid courage before finally making his way back to his apartment. As he opened the door, he instinctively ducked. A ceramic plate hurtled through the air, accompanied by Lola's furious screams. "Where have you been? Who is she?" Frozen with fear, Gregory stammered, "There is no one. I stopped for a drink." Lola's demeanor shifted suddenly, replaced by an eerie, disquieting serenity. She smiled and said, "Okay," with a sweet and delicate voice. She suggested, with a sinister smile, that they should sit down for dinner. Gregory complied cautiously, taking a seat, his hands trembling as he laid them on the table. "How was your day?" Lola asked with feigned innocence. His answer was a mere whisper as he feared for his life. The next day, Gregory, who started to fear for his life, finally sat with Lola and very carefully told her that this was not going to work. To Gregory's surprise, she took it rather well. It had been a few days, and Gregory had not seen Lola at all. He figured it was finally over, and he can finally move on with his life. About 2 weeks later, Gregory was rushing to the liquor store to pick a few bottles of wine for a dinner with his family. When he arrived at his family's house, he was shocked to discover that Lola was there helping his mother cook dinner. She had arrived early and introduced herself as his girlfriend. Gregory, not wanting to make a scene, just smirked and went with the story. Lola was charming, and his family adored her, and repeatedly asked why he never brought her around. When they left, Gregory turned to Lola and asked what was she doing there. Lola explained that the only way that Gregory was going to see her as his girlfriend was if everyone else did. The next day, when Gregory got home, he soon discovered that Lola had moved in. The more Gregory tried to explain to Lola that this was not going to work, the less she heard. This went on for weeks. Gregory lived in fear, but no one knew. Lola always appeared like the most loving and caring person. After a few weeks, Gregory just felt dead on the inside, as if he was a zombie, going through the motions of life. Weeks of this eerie dance with Lola left Gregory a hollow shell of his former self, drained by the weight of her presence. He continued to live in fear, all the while presenting a facade of a normal life to the world. At a gathering with friends, an invitation to a couple's brunch brought them to the precipice of an uncanny revelation. One friend jokingly sought Lola's permission for Gregory to join them on a guy's weekend at a rented cabin. Her nonchalant, "Of course, silly," was the catalyst for a plan. A getaway with friends seemed the perfect escape. In preparation for the trip, Gregory did some shopping. The cabin was a 3-hour drive away, but he didn't mind. The solitude of the car ride was a respite he eagerly embraced. When he arrived at the cabin, he felt relief. He opened the car door, exited, and stretched out. No other cars were in sight. He figured that he must be the first to arrive. He unloaded his belongings and entered, noting the cozy fire already crackling in the hearth. A few short moments had passed when he realized that if no one had arrived, then how is there a fire going? That sense of relief was short-lived, especially when he heard a familiar voice from the next room. "Hi, sweetie," Lola exclaimed. The shock and terror gripped him as he ventured further into the cabin. The realization dawned that he was far from alone. A bewildered Gregory confronted Lola about her presence in the cabin, questioning why she was there when it was meant to be a guy's weekend. She calmly revealed that she had called his friends, informing them that he couldn't make it due to illness. In a chilling twist, she had reconfigured the information on his phone, leaving him with directions only to this remote cabin, now their private sanctuary. Overwhelmed and on the brink of despair, Gregory finally found the courage to break free. He shouted, "I can't do this anymore!" But what transpired next left him in pure terror. Lola's face, hidden behind her hair, slowly rose with a malevolent grin. As her head rose slowly, a smile played on Lola's lips. "Does this mean you want to break up?" she inquired with an eerie calmness. Gregory's resounding yes was the moment of truth, his ultimate admission. But the sinister grin on Lola's face suggested that the path to freedom was far from clear. With methodical precision, she revealed a large, hidden knife. Trembling with trepidation, Gregory pleaded for her to put it down. Desperate confession, he uttered, "I lied. I never spoke to you online. I was never John." But Lola's chilling response sent shivers down his spine. "I know. There was never a John." Gregory's face turned white as shock came across his face. "What did you say?" replied Gregory. "That's just how I meet guys at the bar." "You'd be surprised how often that works," she continued. Lola giggled, still maintaining the evil grin. Lola started to slowly creep towards Gregory and suddenly wielded the knife at Gregory. Weeks passed, and Gregory vanished from the world, a prisoner in the web of Lola's obsession. She concealed his absence from his friends, leaving them to speculate about his whereabouts. They suspected something happened while he was driving to the cabin, since she never called them about Gregory being sick. A few weeks later, a lonely bar downtown provided the stage for a new chapter. Tim, sitting alone and already inebriated, watched as the door swung open to reveal a striking woman in a red dress. Her presence was magnetic, leaving Tim captivated by her beauty. She approached him, her voice soft but loaded with sinister intent. "John, is that you?"